something I would have done.
Yeah.
I think the thing that excites me about NGOs, because obviously I've worked for the government, I've worked in DHBs, I've been a nurse, I've worked in private as well. The thing that excites me about NGOs is that you can take all those ideas, collect a group of people, and it's really sort of together. It feels really more than anything. Well, apart from maybe Like Minds, which was similar, more than anything I've ever done, where it feels like a movement, feels like everybody at Ember wants to do something similar of the same idea, and we're all working together, and I get to be the one who is the leader, but it's a collective thing. I didn't get that at DHBs. I didn't really get that at the government generally. I did when I was with you guys in Like Minds. It was definitely, it felt like that then. But the great thing about Like Minds was it was like a room full of people who all had different opinions, but we all wanted the same outcome. So there were people who didn't agree with each other, but everybody was moving forward together. I really loved that. But it was fantastic. So I didn't really agree with, I don't know, some of the people on it in terms of how we do it. But we all wanted to do the same thing. So we worked it out. And I like that collective effort.
And you did a very good job as well. I still remember, like, everybody just loved you, how you create a space for us as a provider to grow, and as an individual, and still having that relationship and acknowledging, you know, all the providers and even people who work in that space. And I really respect that.
Well, but I think that's the essence of what it was really, though, was that, you know, because I mean, I used services when I was younger, but I don't consider myself of that sort of lived experience. I've never considered myself a consumer leader or a lived experience leader because it was limited and it was a long time ago. And the power of Like Minds was in the lived experience. So my job, I felt, was to give that power to people so that they could get what they were saying. And for a while, I thought it was really effective. I thought we had the ear of politicians, we had the ear of the public.
We were very successful.
We were, until it got undermined by kind of a change in government direction, really.
Absolutely.
Which was a shame, because it was working very well. I don't know. I mean, that's the thing about leadership, isn't it? I always felt that it was a really easy leadership role because you were kind of leading from the back, or you know, it wasn't. I didn't have to convince anybody of the passion in Like Minds was a bit frightening at times. When you think about the people like, you know, Egan and Aaron Woolley and you know and Susie Crooks and all these. Like, I didn't have to convince anybody it was a good idea. It was just right. We're doing this thing. What do you think? And it was just amazing. It was great.
And they're all very lovely people as well anymore. I don't think.
But I remember Like Minds really fondly. I remember meeting you and other people. I remember the things that we did, and I feel really proud of. Like, I think. Obviously, I had cause to reflect recently because I got the award.
Yes, congratulations.
It's not. I never thought of getting awards before, and it's not why we do the job. But it made me think about.
Do you know who nominated you?
No, they don't tell you that.
Yeah, exactly.
I know it was Like Minds and Ember, so I know it was.
Awesome.
I have my suspicions who at those places may have done it, but they don't give you all the details.
No, they don't.
But no, it's. I had a chance to reflect on it and think of. Because obviously they picked out Like Minds and those sorts of things that I'd done. And I felt really, not proud of me, because I don't think it's about, leadership's not about you as an individual, but just proud of the people and the things we achieved and the collective effort, especially because the Like Minds was staffed by people who had been institutionalised and been discriminated against. And I remember Mary O'Hagan saying to me that, you know, being in an institution in the 70s and 80s in New Zealand was like surviving a war. And then every day I was working with people who were trying to fix society that was broken, you know, and it was just such a joy to work alongside just amazing people like that all the time.
I do have to say, because at the time you were the founder, I mean, what I witnessed were you really allowed that to flourish, Darryl. I don't know, I know you say, even though you say, you know, like it's quite easy because you don't have to convince people, but I think one thing I still remember is the passion you bring into the ethos of the Like Minds as well, and also, you know, like you also kind of help us to bring the evidence-based information, especially with Phoenix, research, where you kind of explain to us how things move. Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's a role that doesn't really exist anymore. There used to be those roles which were kind of funders, but also I was literally a program manager.
That's right.
So my job was to work as a funder and fund providers, but also to manage the program. So to make the decisions.
Yeah.
They don't really have those roles in government anymore. They're now you're either a funder or you're a policy leader but those were perhaps more typical of New Zealand in the 90s. And I was one of the last ones that remained, where you had a portfolio role, a program role, and so my KPIs were the success of the program, not contracts. They were actually...
Oh, I see.
So the things like the Phoenix research, those were my KPIs. My boss thought I'd done a good job if that research was showing that New Zealand got better.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, so that was a bit different to now. You don't see a lot of those roles anymore. You'd see more sort of contracting roles or legal roles or policy roles. You don't see the hands-on as a sort of sector lead. You don't see those as much, which is a shame.
And you still, I mean, like even what you're doing now with Ember and Ember Innovation, you still mojitos, like very authentic grassroots and like the young people, and also you still carry that mahi forward.
Yeah, I mean, I genuinely think that I don't think there's any other way to be in our sector. I think a couple of things about leadership in our sector is that one is that you can never forget that it's service. I have a joke that if anything goes well, it's always somebody else that's done it. If anything goes wrong, it's always my fault. And that's kind of good leadership, because you're there to... I only have a job so that people in my organisation can do their job. Because at the end of the day, we exist so that Tang Te Whaiora get better support and better services. I was talking to somebody about it today, saying you can't really be a leader in our sector unless you know yourself very well. Because I think it's more, it's not like corporate or other things where you can live. I think there are too many intersections and too many conversations where people, you have to show your true self all the time. You can't pretend to be something else. It's very authentic with a capital A sort of thing. You're thrust into it. People know who you are.
Yeah.
So the Like Minds role was a good example, because at times I felt like that role, I didn't mind it, but it was very intrusive. People knew. And if I look on my social media now, about half of my social media is people from Like Minds.
Still is.
Yeah, people have in a nice way, and I like it, like a piece of you,
I hear you.
That they know who you are and they know who your family are. And I think some leaders in like corporate settings don't have that.
Yeah, true.
But that's the same with Ember, and I like it like that, and I feel that I get to be a leader, and I get to. We have a strategy called Bold Horizon, which it's not just about delivering services; it's about creating a better New Zealand.
Yeah,
a New Zealand that responds better to mental health and addiction and intellectual disability. And everything in Bold Horizon is what I believe. So it's not like I'm not working, and there's nothing wrong with working in a bank, but I'm not working in a bank and just selling somebody else's ideas. I'm leading an organisation that's doing what I believe in.
Exactly.
And it's not just what I believe in, it's what everybody in our organisation believes in, because we've done it together. But when all those stars align and they're all in a row, it's joy, isn't it?
And that's why, like you kind of have to have that balance between leading your heart and also leading as, like someone who also hold that responsibility, which is quite big. Yeah.
You try not to think about it, do you?
I know.
When you've had senior roles, it's like I always equate it to, it's like driving a car. If you think about the fact you're driving half a ton of metal 100 kilometres an hour around other people who may not be paying attention or may have been drinking, who are also driving you wouldn't never do it.
Exactly.
And I don't think there's that big a difference. There are some differences as organisations get bigger, but really the role is this. I think sometimes people think they'll go and be a small organisation, it'll be easy, but it isn't.
No,
You're just as responsible. You're still the person who's attached to that mahi, attached to that kaupapa, attached to that failure or success. And it's still 40 hours plus a week, and it's still it's still the same thought process. So, and in some ways being bigger helps because I've got more resources to help me. So I've got a fantastic operational team, a fantastic chief operation officer. I've got a very experienced and wonderful chief financial officer.
Awesome.
I've got one of the sort of leading people and culture leaders and a wonderful director of innovation supporting me. So it's not the Darryl show, it's a collective effort. So I feel very lucky, Ivan, to be honest. I feel like I'm very blessed to have ended up in an organisation that really values me, and I love the work we do. So
you're so humble. I mean, no, seriously, the reason why I say that is, like, there's a thing. The reason why I really want to talk to you is people change.
Yeah.
Like, it's very normal for whatever reason. And one of the people that I met 20 years ago is still the same Darryl that I haven't, and I respect the most. And that's the reason why when I talk about authentic leadership, what does it mean? I was like, I want to talk to Darryl.
That's nice, thank you. I mean, I don't know. I had a very colourful and interesting early part to my life. So by the time I met you, I was in my mid-30s, and maybe I'd kind of sorted some of those things. And so the last 20 years I've been a dad and quite stable and probably haven't changed as much. I don't know though, because when you met 20 years ago, we were doing a similar thing to what I'm doing now, really, which was doing something which had clear goals, clear ideas. I got to be myself. So I don't think you've changed that much either, to be honest, Ivan.
I don't know how to be anybody else.
Well, that's it, isn't it? I don't know. I mean, one of the things I've probably got better at is always trying to get things right, because I think I used to be really, really hard on myself, but now I realise that, I'm trying my best, and everybody recognises that, and sometimes we'll fail. One of the things I've learnt, we've been doing a lot of work in innovations. And one of the things I've learnt is to succeed, you have to fail.
Wow.
And so perhaps when we met, I wasn't quite as good at that. So you have to try things and learn from things not working quite as well, and then get better. I think I was always trying to get things right first time before, which I've probably got a bit better at, which is good.
Wow. It sounds easy. It's not
easy. No.
That's what I mean. Like that's a real lesson, isn't it? To have that wisdom to actually say, that's okay. Let's.
Well, it's also been allowed to do it, isn't it? Because we say it, but when you've got government contracts or taxpayers' money or people's lives are on the line, you can't fail. So I don't probably mean fail.
I hear you.
I mean, you've got to learn from your experience a bit more, and I was perhaps not as good at that. But age has helped a little bit for me to be a bit more calm. I think I've had to try to listen a bit more intently. I think when I was younger, I used to charge forward a lot more quickly, and
that's very
hope everybody came with me. But I try and be a bit better at that now. I don't know whether I always am. I'm still quite opinionated.
I think opinionated is necessary in the sector. You have to. It's not like you have to sit down and just shut up and not. You have to stand out sometimes, even though it's challenging. That's what I saw you doing as well. Like, you had to speak the truth, even though the whole room, everybody might feeling it. But no one have the gut to stand out and just name it.
Which is why I like NGOs, because I think we get to be a little bit more. I loved working for the government. I really loved my role. I loved leading Like Minds. I do prefer the of being in a community organisation. I mean, where we're sitting now was where my organisation started. Or part of my organisation started. The Connect Support and Recovery part of the Ember merger started in this suburb. And I feel like NGOs were born after the institutions closed, really. And they were the community's response to people coming into the community who didn't have enough support. And it was good people. So we were on the shoulders of really good people who didn't have any money, didn't have any resources, just said, hey, these people are living in our community, they need houses, they need jobs, they need relationships, they need support, they need araha, they need love. And so they just did it. The government funding came later, and the big organisations we have now came later. But I still feel intimately connected to that community, that sense of community. I always say that we're not NGOs, I don't like that phrase. I think we're community organisations first and foremost.
Wow.
I don't want to be defined by not being in the government. I want to think of us as being community agents, because we're seeing communities to be better, aren't we? That's the thing.
Wow. I will have to say then, like you'll be able to demonstrate that, because there's feeling I have even.
Yeah. That's good. It's good to hear.
Yeah.
Well, also the other thing we're doing is opening small hubs in the community.
Wow.
We like to be in the communities we work in, not satelliting people in.
Yeah. Wow.
So we're trying to be in those communities. So
that's big.
Yeah. Also helps with sustainability, because people driving around Auckland particularly is wastes a lot of time and a lot of energy. So we're keen to employ local people.
That's amazing.
So where we've got a Rodney service, we want Rodney people working in a Rodney office.
Wow.
Where we've got a Central Auckland service, we want Central Auckland people working rather than driving around.
Absolutely. Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
As opposed to the other model where you have one great big office.
Yeah.
And then everybody goes from it. I mean, neither's wrong. It's the same.
Yeah.
It's just two ways of doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But if we can afford it, we really like to try and have a small hub in every community.
I like it because that's what I believe as well. Because you know the place well, like me. Like if you stay here as Darryl.
Well, you've lived here a long time. Yeah.
Exactly. But if you take me to somewhere else, Takapuna, it's not really my. Even though it sounds same, but it's just not the same.
Yeah. I think more and more. The house I live in now, it's the longest I've ever lived in a house in my life.
Wow.
Because when I was young, we moved house. I moved around a lot when I was young for various reasons.
Yeah.
And so this stage of my life, I'm really connected to the community I live in and want to do more in my community.
Wow.
And so as an organisation, we're trying to do that in the communities we work in.
Yeah.
And like I say, that's where NGOs were born.
Yeah.
NGOs were people talk about community care, but I always think that it was a community caring a response. So it was communities caring, not community care in the way that people think of it. Because I see that now, because I think now is the time where we've got the most unmet need since the institutions closed. The institutions closed, all those people flooded communities, and we had all these people not getting the support. And the communities and our organisations responded. I think now we're seeing that again. Excuse me. Drink water. Now we're seeing that again, but we're seeing the response be communities again, but also innovators and entrepreneurs and technical people developing online resources or community marae responses, because they estimate that 1.2 million people in New Zealand need support every year.
Wow.
And all of the services combined, primary care, NGOs, hospital, outpatients, all of those services at their very best could probably support about 400,000.
Oh my God.
So there's about 800,000 people every year for whom we don't have support.
Where do they go?
Well, what we're seeing, that their own communities are responding again.
Wow.
So, but it's a bit different this time because it's a community of innovators responding. So it might be an AI response, or it might be a response in a workplace or a response in a school. It's the community that they're living in that's responding, not necessarily the geographic community. So we're definitely seeing that, and we're trying to support that. Trying to give them the skills and support them to be good at what they're doing, because there's no way we're going to fund New Zealand to have services for what, and probably we wouldn't want that. Because it would just be 1.2 million lot worth of psychiatry. And we don't necessarily think that's the answer.
No, not at all.
I envisage a future where psychiatry does probably less, but with the right people. And then we see a range of other responses from NGOs, communities, schools, families, for the rest of the people online, rather than trying to just expand one model. So that seems to be what we're at the forefront of at the moment.
Wow. That sounds very challenging at the same time as well.
It's fun though.
Yeah, it's fun. The opportunity, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the other thing about our sector. It's a lot of fun, isn't it?
Yeah, so. And also, like what you say, a fun opportunity to be innovative about new approach, thinking about how to meet the need of the communities, and you don't have to do the same old. Especially with NGO, because there's a lot more flexibility, isn't it? Right. Yeah, especially when you have the right people, skill and talents, which you have.
Well, if you look at the innovation, all the innovation and creative, well, not all of it, but lots of it, has come, peer support, things like that have come through NGOs' flexible, creative thinking and sort of value for money as well. So, I think people say NGO sector,
I agree.
the community sector, because I think when it was originally funded, it was seen as a sort of lesser than, like all the expertise was here, and then you've got these nice people that are helping out. I don't think it's been that for 20 years. I think for the last 20 years, it's been where a lot of the expertise and creativity sits. And if you look at the leaders in this NGO sector, they are, you know, some of the most amazing people in the country. I really find,
and hardworking as well, to be honest. They really put their heart and soul into it. It's not like just a 9-to-5 job.
That's right, Well, you live it.
Yeah, exactly. So how would you define authentic leadership?
I think what I said before, I think it's knowing who you are. I think that's really important. I don't think you can be an authentic leader if you haven't kind of thought about who you are as a person. And I don't mean gone through extensive therapy or anything like that. I just mean...
existential crisis.
I don't think all leaders need to have lived experience. I think lived experience... But I think it's a reflective process on your life's journey because you're here as whatever you are. In this case, you're talking about a leader. You're here as a result of all the things that have happened to you. They've all led, whether it be qualifications and jobs, but also life events and bad, things that haven't gone as well, and all those sorts of things. That's the reason you're here where you are. You haven't had a good think about that, and that's why I always say to all leaders that they should have some form of coaching, ongoing.
True.
I think if you're in a leadership position, you need a coach or a mentor.
True.
And a way of reflecting on what you're doing, because we're all still improving and still trying to do the job better. So I think that's the first thing. I think the other thing would be the stuff I talked about before, that understanding that leadership doesn't mean it's the Ivan and Darryl show. It means that you're in a service position, you're providing support to people doing work. You're there as a person who people. And I think if you realise those two things, I think they would be the most important things, I think, for me.
Wow. How do you stay grounded, though? I mean, like, there's another thing when that's true when certain kind of like, not necessarily authority, but you have certain mana, and then naturally attract a lot of people come to you seeking for advice, help, support, you know, right? And
do they?
I think so.
I haven't noticed that. But I guess, I mean, I think stay grounded. I think that's about family and friends and, away from work, you're not that person. I don't get, your family and friends just treat you as Ivan or Darryl, and just I'm sure when you turn off the camera, you stop doing this, you just, and it's the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
To my kids or to my wife or to friends, then I'm not that. You're not a leader all the time, are you? So.
Yeah, but that's the thing, right? I mean, that some people kind of came quite easy, like you and Kevin. I also talked to Kevin. It's just very easy. Like whatever you see them, they're always the same person. Where the situation where you meet people, they kind of like a little bit like a. Yeah.
So I think in mental health that's more normal, though, isn't it? Because I think to be a leader in our sector, you tend to be people see through inconsistency, double dealing, or So I don't know. I think I'm some similarities to Kenneth. I don't think we're confident in that as you saying about us, because I think both of us probably feel. I've certainly spoken to Kevin about that. A little bit unsure at times,
Yeah, I think we all have.
We all have those doubts.
Of course.
Who put me in charge? This is ridiculous, This is.
Everybody. That's
But I think that's authenticity as well, though, isn't it? Because if you're being true to yourself, somebody once said, because I'm getting support at the moment. My coach is the man Harold Hillman, who wrote the Imposter Syndrome, and I remember Tammy Allen. She said to me once that. But everybody has imposter. If you don't have imposter syndrome, you're probably a psychopath. Because the opposite of the imposter syndrome is you think you absolutely should be in charge. Nobody's better than you, and all your decisions are right. I don't want to spend time with people like that. That's not. That's nice way to be. I constantly question myself. I'm a very strong critical voice. I think that, but that's all authenticity as well, isn't it? I think being self-critical is part of life, isn't it?
But I know vulnerability.
Yeah.
Which what you say is true. Like it sounds easy. Fully step into it and kind of embrace that, and able to name it. It's not as easy as people thought.
No, I mean, I guess the for me in that was being a parent, because I feel 10 times more vulnerable as a parent than I ever do at work.
Wow.
I think being a parent really, for me personally, really tests my vulnerability. Just because you create human beings and you nurture them and you love them. The moment your children are born, for me, the moment my son was born, I wasn't the most important person in my life. And that's forever then. You know, forever there's something more important than you, but you're so tied into how they turn out. So every day, there's that famous phrase that you're only as happy as your least happy child, and that's vulnerability.
Wow.
You know, having your well-being and your risks open because you're tied to somebody else's success or failure.
Absolutely.
That feels more vulnerable than things at work, which I can control. And you know, I've always worked really hard. I do work really hard. So I always figure if I'm working really hard and I'm trying my best, that if it doesn't go so well, most people will go, "Oh, well, he tried. He was trying his best." So I don't worry. I try not to worry too much about. It's not like I'm not working hard. So, and not everything can go well. Most things, touch wood, most things seem to be doing okay. But you just
And that go back to the last time, you know, like because you always show up with care, love, respect, creating the space that's why we love you. You know, like you kind of.
Sorry, that's right.
Because you're creating that space and allowing us to voice our concerns, and then you also tell us like really inform us about what's going on. You know, and making sure that all the providers are on the same page when we have the national hui, and also
they were fun though, weren't they?
Amazing.
It was like a party. It always felt like it was such a collection of amazing people. No, I appreciate you saying that. I mean, I guess I've always felt honest and transparent is the best you can do. I mean, sometimes you can't. Because honesty in one situation might jeopardize the privacy of the somebody else. So you have to kind of, you know, protect individuals. But where you can, you should always be as transparent. I mean, I don't have I worked for the government. Maybe it's a bit old-fashioned now that I needed to hold a load of secrets. You know, I was in a position working for the government with clear set of outcomes, a clear budget, which I could be really honest about. There was no more money. I had the money I had. And so being transparent was, you know, we had a certain money to do a certain amount of things, and there were some decisions to make, but not, you know, mostly it was just, how do we do this even better?
And even the strategy really helped us to guide us the process, you know, like at the time, developing like my strategy.
Well, the 2007 strategy, which I personally think great, like my strategy, because the one after that was a good piece of government documentation, but it was more about making some practical decisions about what to spend money on, whereas our strategy was how we were going to change the world.
Research, self-stigma was a big one in the family.
And the Māori leadership was big as well, which was... and then we produced that other document, Rangiatia, which was with Egan and people like that, which was wonderful. And we did Kai Jing Jing Dong. Kai Jing Jing Dong.
I know.
Am I pronouncing that right?
Correct. The perfect.
Which was, I mean, you know, neither of us ever thought we'd be able to do that. So to have a Chinese like minds media program for 5 years.
About that.
About 5 years.
5, 6 years. Even after I left, like
probably changed some lives. I would have thought. And it was the foundation that did it, not me. It was just your idea, and we gave the money to the foundation, and the foundation still are great. Those things happen. I think it was. What I always think of times as well. I was talking to a really good friend and colleague of mine, Sally Pitts-Brown, who's the CEO of Pathways, because she was in a role then when we funded a thing called H101. I don't really know H101. And we talked...
Oh, that's another one. That's right.
So we talked about the fact that was a perfect... and it doesn't always happen, but this perfect combination of the government and the funder and the provider, because MH101 came originally from me because for a variety of reasons, I didn't feel that the other mental health literacy programs that were out there, there was a desire to do mental health literacy, but I didn't feel that the ones that were available aligned to like minds, because they were good at educating people, but they actually increased discrimination and stigma.
That's
so
right.
we wanted something that was all the things of mental health literacy, but also more aligned to reducing discrimination. So we wanted lived experience to be part of it. So that was what I had. I had a name for it. Then we went to the sector, but then Blueprint for Learning that got the contract and Sally made it 10 times better. So it was so the funder had an idea and some money, trusted the provider. The provider made it much better than we could have ever dreamed of, but did all the things we asked. And then still here we are 20 odd years later, and it's still and nothing. The fund, so my role and the funder's role and the government's role steps away. It then just becomes something which the provider develops and makes wonderful, and then decades later, I've got board members who are presenters on it, and so have you heard of MH101? And I go, well, yes, I have. So I was quite involved in that. So, but that's the, in essence, when you get that funding and organisation and relationship spot on, because. And it doesn't always happen like that. And there's a lot of trust involved and a lot of relationship management, because you've got to really believe in each other and listen to each other and understand each other. It's not adversarial. It's the funder. It's a partnership thing, and we still see it. We have services that have been configured and driven like that. I just feel like it's a little bit under threat at times. That's all, which is a shame.
And to be honest, Darryl, I mean, like at the time that program, they have 101. It wasn't. What is the right word? Like, it wasn't driven by the government sector. Truly, is you saw the gaps. You saw there's certain things that might create more problems. And then you think it's not the right way, because I know a lot of people just adopting other places strategy, and then you saw that would be problematic.
So we knew what we didn't want. But we didn't know exactly what we did want beyond an idea. And that's why I say it's perfect, because that's how it should work. Rather than the government people saying, this is exactly what we want. We went, well, we want something that does this, not this. And then Sally and the team turned it into something amazing. And so quite rightly, I don't want any of the acknowledgement for that. That's them. That was all the provider. But it was just a sign of, but I think it was you sort of reminisce about the times when that trust and all aligns and is perfect, because you get such a, that's the way it should work. And it does still happen quite a lot. We've got funders that have been absolutely brilliant with us and have funded things in a similar way. But I always remember that one really, really, really fondly.
And that's also why as well, like, because you have such a great relationship with so many providers, and that really speaks the volumes of who you are as a person, because trust is the harder things to gain. Isn't it? Especially working in the sector.
But we're all on the same team. I mean, I say this to funders and to provider on people all the time. We're on the same team. We're all trying to get better outcomes for people. There's not anybody, I mean, the mental health sector gets, and the addiction sector gets criticism at times because it's not perfect. But I can't think of anybody sitting here at the moment who's not trying hard to improve outcomes. And I include politicians, funders, policy analysts, managers, accountants, nurses, doctors, support workers, peer support workers, CEOs, everybody that I know working in the sector is trying
really hard.
You're trying really hard to get better outcomes. Now, do we agree on the best way to do that? Of course we don't, because people don't always agree. But I don't think anybody's waking up in the morning and not wanting it to be better. I think it's just the how that we struggle with sometimes. So that's one of the reasons I love the sector, really, because it's full of amazingly honest people who are very, very passionate. I mean, we have some great debates in our sector. What we did in Like Minds.
What do you enjoy even after so many years?
That's a really good question. I still think, for me personally, I really, really enjoy the strategic side of work. I really enjoy the bigger picture. I enjoy trying to solve big problems. That's what gets me the most excited. But on a day-to-day basis, it's probably still the people that we get to work with, because there's so many amazing, and particularly in recent years, because of the more honest people have become about lived experience and the fact that people don't hide that anymore. So not just peer support workers and the consumer, the activists, but also doctors and nurses and people just being more honest about their own experiences. I find it I find it a really nice space to be because of that.
So you really witness the progress, how people...
Oh gosh, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still very protective of a group of people who are using their lived experience because I think that's the difference. So I think it's great that people, you know, like me and other people talk about their own experience of tough times or their use of services. That's fantastic. But I'm very protective of the staff I have who we ask to go out into the world. And you were a peer support worker, weren't you?
Yeah, I was. Mind and Body.
Yeah, Mind and Body, that's when I think I first met you. Yeah. People who go out into the world and they intentionally use that lived to help somebody else.
I agree.
I think that I never want the fact that more people talk about their lived experience to take away from that group of people because I think they're really special and really important. And they've, in my view, they've changed the whole sector forever. Yeah. However, I also think it's really good that now a nurse, you know, like when I signed up, if you disclose that you use services, you wouldn't have got on the course. Now that nurses can say that they've used services, the fact I have nurses working for me who've used our services and now work for us, I think that's amazing. Or social workers that have used services or doctors that have had, you know, severe mental health problems and then become doctors. I think that's a better world. Yes. And I'm really happy about it, with the caveat that we have to protect the not the purity, but the intention of what we've done with a group of people who, for me, are people who extra protection and extra credit because they're using their experience to help people.
I completely agree with you. Well, because, you know, like with professional role, you're still not like able to have that kind of few degree separations of being that role, isn't it? But peer support, you truly bring yourself in as that, being identified as someone with lived experience, and at times, you know, like that person still have to share some of their own story and can be very vulnerable.
Well, the model's based on mutuality, isn't it?
Exactly.
And based on this idea that we're on a journey together. Yeah. Whereas if you're a nurse with lived experience, as fantastic as that is,
there's more like an add-on.
Yeah, your lived experience it's part of that mutual journey. It's just a thing which I think makes you better at your job.
Absolutely.
But it's not a thing that you're using in your job. You're still doing nursing or being a doctor or being a psychologist or being a health coach. I think there's room for all of them. Yeah. But I just want to make sure that we protect and understand the massive impact that peer support workers have, because they really have. I've been working for over 30 years since I started training. And I think it's the best thing that's happened in mental health in my 30 years. The role of peer support, adding that as a profession or as a role to the sector has been the best thing that's ever happened.
Absolutely.
I really do. I don't think anything has been as impactful as that.
I agree as well, because even when I first started, you can really see the impact, how it different from any other roles, because, you know, like they immediately feel that there's the connections with someone who understands, and even without the spoken words, it's just incredible.
Well, it's incredibly powerful, and I think it changes the system as well, because it impacts on, we see that when we put peer support workers in alongside other professions. I think it impacts on those professions. It changes the conversation. It changes the way that people think about the people that use their services. It's very powerful, the way it changes systems, not just the individual care. It makes people think differently about what we're there for and what mental health services and addiction services are doing. Look, it's not new. I mean, peer support's been around in mental health and particularly in addiction for a long time. But I think what's really enhanced is the way that the role has been developed and nurtured and cared for and supervised and, you know, really maximised in recent years. And we've got some great leaders in New Zealand of that movement who are still, you know, credible. And I've got to work with years, and it's just amazing. And you worked with Jim, didn't you? So?
Yeah, Jim Patel. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's never. I was just so lucky. I just have been able to work with him in my first job.
Yeah. Well, one of the first people I met when I moved to New Zealand 26 years last week. Yeah. And I still had jet lag, and I had a porphyry. Yeah. Which was quite a full-on experience for a lad from northwest of England. Yeah. One of the first people I met after the porphyry, who came over to me and said, "You look like you're really tired," was Deborah Lamshire.
Nice.
And then me and Deborah worked together delivering. I was a nurse delivering workshops with her, where she did the lived experience and I did the sort of science side of it.
Oh my God.
Not that she ever let me, but yeah. So we did that for ADHD for a while, and then she's done that with other people.
Oh, cool.
But she was an inspiration to me. I'd never met anybody like her. So she was a big in my life.
Oh wow.
Yeah, she just made me just think completely differently from day one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was Auckland, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, she is. Yeah. So I don't very often anymore. But for a long time, she was a massive inspiration for me. She was just
what a small world.
Yeah, well, that's right. Well, I mean, I worked at Buchanan Clinic for 8 weeks.
Yeah.
They brought me over. Stayed there very long. I went to the Cardi Centre. But that's where I started properly. But Deborah was very kind. Very kind. Yeah.
Oh my God. You must be exhausted.
Yeah, exhausted. Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of conversation there. Yeah. No, so I was just really, really lucky to have, like I said, Buchanan Clinic didn't work out, but I feel really lucky because I met Deborah there.
Yes.
I also met probably one of my best friends in my life, who also only stayed for a few weeks.
Wow.
But we met there and then went on to be like family.
Oh my God.
So I felt like I'm not one of those people in fate and that sort of stuff, but it felt like it was the right place to be at that time, professionally and personally. Yeah.
What made you decide to come to New Zealand though, so far away?
I came for a year with a broken heart to try and fix a broken heart, and then I am 26 years later with a family.
You found another heart, apparently.
Yeah. So I was, the intention was to be here for a year and fix the broken bit inside me, and
then you
just stayed.
Oh my God.
I stayed for a bit, then I was travelling for a year, and then I came back permanently after that.
Oh, cool. But what made you decide to come back to New Zealand instead of
I was sitting on a beach in Mexico, just trying to teach myself to surf badly. And it was an isolated beach, and I was halfway through my travels where I was going to land back in England. And I started to feel really sad that I was going to do that and I wasn't coming back to New Zealand to my friends and this life I'd built for myself. So by the time I got back to England, I'd kind of decided that I would start the process to come back permanently, and it didn't take that long. It's actually easier to do it in England than it is to do it here. Because there's fewer numbers doing it. So you just go and park yourself in New Zealand House and just do it. So I came back as a permanent resident to the Cardi Centre, to the same job. About exactly a year after I'd left.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And then met my wife about 6 months after that.
Hey.
So it felt like I came back and then everything happened really quite quickly. So,
wow.
It was good.
And then what made you decide from, progressing as the Cardi Centre to become?
I think what happened for me was that I was always really interested in. My clinical career was all early intervention with young people. So early voice hearing, early psychosis, that sort of stuff. What I discovered, or I didn't discover it, but what I noticed was, as you know, because we've talked about this a lot, most of the barriers those young people faced were nothing to do with hearing voices or their illness. It was to do with the system not working well for them to get them the help they needed early enough. And the barriers of discrimination that they face, which meant they didn't want to get help. Because actually, if you get somebody early enough, hearing voices is quite a, you can teach people the skills to manage them, and you can really ameliorate the damage that the system causes by keeping them out of it. But I noticed, or I felt really passionately, that the system was a bit broken. So I, first of all, at the Cardi Centre, set up with a wonderful psychologist called Sonia Gerdeker. We set up a program called Liaison Education Adolescent Project, the LEAP project, in high schools, to try and build up early intervention a little bit better. And so then I fell in love with the idea of working more at a systemic level. So I ended up like Minds, Addressing Discrimination, and then working on bigger systems rather than, I loved being a clinician and working with, especially with teenagers. And that's when I met people like Shay and when I was doing that. I loved doing that. And I loved the satisfaction of it, but I got a real passion for trying to look at the whole system. So that led me to do Like Minds, and then when I left Like Minds, I wanted to look at sort of bigger programs, and that's why I've ended up where I am really.
So you're always enjoying identify gaps and then realizing something to kind of like
Yeah, I think when I was younger, I was I was an activist. Like I was a protester and things. I think I've always enjoyed looking at things that aren't working and trying to fix the bigger.
I know there's some underlying authentic leadership there that it hasn't talked about. Finally, I found it.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I was. Yeah, for a number of reasons. When I was a kid, I was quite angry at the world.
Yeah.
So that sort of turned into sort of looking at the broken political system or the broken.
Injustice.
Yes, injustices. So I mean, social justice activism has been my main drive my whole life. So
I'm very proud to say I'm right. I write there's something about you that I just felt it's more than just.
That's what I've always. It's what I've always. You know, I tell a story that I haven't been at McDonald's since the last time I went in when I was arrested for throwing a brick through the window.
Wow! How old were you?
I was about 70.
Yeah. Oh wow!
Just because there were McDonald's in my community and there was many of them, so I was quite angry about it. So,
wow.
Social activism, injustices have always been my thing. So that's why Like Minds worked really well.
Yeah.
That's to try and help to have a better mental health system.
That is the spark I always see in you, Darryl. I can't explain. Like that's why I felt that there's always something in you that is like a little spark. I don't know what it is.
Just angry young man waving my fist at the world. I've always. I don't like injustice. I don't like people mistreating other people. Wow. I don't like sexism. Nobody likes sexism and racism, but I get really, really upset at
where
those
that came from.
I don't know, because it's right.
Yeah, I know, but
because we're correct. I don't know. I've just never. I think. I was always taught to speak my mind. My mum's a real influence on me, and just that you say you stand up for other people. Yeah. I've always wanted to do that.
That is what I felt, and I think that's why everybody from Like Minds provider love you, is because you have that sense of social injustice that people can sense.
Yeah, well, Like Minds was a social justice program.
So I mean, like, so that's why that's what I mean, like, sometimes I can sense things, but I'm not really good at articulating. I just like this people is this person.
You're very hard on yourself when it comes to articulation, though, aren't you? I think you're quite good.
Oh, thank you.
Your articulation in English is a lot better than mine in Mandarin. So.
Oh, you're too kind. But no, Darryl, that's what I felt. I felt like there's something in you that I'm not necessarily able to see from other leaders. There's like layers, like you. Of course, I agree. Everybody from the mental health sector is lovely. I debate on that. But then there's certain degree of that spark you only find in certain people.
Yeah, I think I see it around me because like yourself, I gravitate towards those people anyway. So my best friends at work are people who have that passion for social justice as well. I think this is, again, just to double back, I think this is what community organisations like Ember are, though.
Exactly.
They are driven by social justice. If you look at Pathways, Emerge, Mahitahi, Mission, Salvation Army, even all of those organisations, Equip, whether they be like church-based or community-based or around a particular group of clients, they're all driven by social justice. Absolutely. They all want to address injustices towards their people.
Absolutely.
I think that's why our business attracts a lot of people who are social justice warriors, really, doesn't it? Because we're all, where can I be where I can try and make things right for individuals? And organisations like ours are good places for that.
And also, like what you say, everybody can work at the same place, but you need someone who have that unique talents of identify something is not working and then willing to put their hands out and say, I don't think this is working, let's do something else. Because then you're getting more work for yourself.
Yeah, and I think the leaders that I really respect, which I won't name and embarrass them, but the leaders I really respect also are brave enough to believe in what they believe. Yeah. So they're the ones which I aspire to be, which are the ones that not only identify the injustice, but are brave enough to say we should do this and put their reputations on the line. But they're the people I love. Oh, yeah. And the people I really, really want to work with are the ones that just see the injustice, but go, right, we're going to do this. Whether it be because of their faith, or because of their innate sense of what's right, or because they're processing their own trauma or whatever, but they go, right, I'm brave enough to put my reputation on the line and say we should do this. They're the people that I'm in awe of. And so I won't embarrass by naming them, but there's people in our sector that I just love just sitting there and listening to and enjoy the fact that they're so brutally honest, but also brave.
Yeah, true. There's a thing there. You need to be so honest and brave, just even to acknowledge things not working. And
we can all see things that aren't working, but if you're prepared to put your own reputation on the line to fix it, that's the key thing, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Wow.